Hi,
Hi, how are you?
how you? What's up? I'm alright. How are you?
I'm listening to Madam Hero. I want to know how you came up with the title.
I was actually very excited to hear you listen to it. I came up with the title because I believe all women are heroes, especially when it comes like when it starts from having kids to raise a family to work hard. So I believe all women are heroes. So yeah, and I feel like sometimes, especially here, they don't get appreciated that much. That's why.
Well, I love it. Ask me who my hero is.
Who is your hero?
My
Who
hero
is
is
it?
my mother. She's
Oh, that's so
she's
beautiful.
she's my
Oh,
hero. She's
that's
my
sweet.
hero. I would not be having this interview with you. I would not to get to do all the great things I'm able to do. I tell people all the time, you need to find people who big you up, who are in your corner, who support
Definitely,
you. And that lady has been in my corner, cheering me on, crying. She'd sell her rings for me. She'd do anything for me. She's my hero. So I completely agree
oh,
with you.
that's sweet. Ah, that's sweet. I can't wait for my kids to grow up and actually see me as their hero. They better
Well,
do.
yeah, there'll be stages. How's that? There'll be stages. But
Definitely,
um,
definitely.
Hamisa, so I get to do this, which is called self-made. I get to talk to
Mm-hmm.
artists and entertainers, musicians, business people, sports, all over the
Mm-hmm.
world. I
Mm-hmm.
started this called self-made because I love hearing not the success. I like hearing the struggle because that's what motivates me.
Mm-hmm.
What does self-made mean to you?
For me, basically, it means when one individual actually works so hard and achieve a lot of all of their goals and on their own. I think that's what it means to me when a person works so hard to achieve everything that they want in life and they actually get it, they get to their goals. I think that's it.
Do you think, because everyone has a different answer, do you think you've achieved your goals?
Yeah, I think 2 years like 2 years back is when I actually got everything I've ever wanted in life. You know, growing up, you have your own goals. You have this place in life where you want to go, and not that I don't want more. Not that now I'm actually aiming for more, but oh my gosh, what I actually wanted at that time, I actually got it, and I felt so happy because I worked so hard. So I believe like 2 years back, I got everything that I've ever wanted in life. Although now I want more. Although now I'm working so hard to achieve more, but I'm actually happy that Rick Ross has commented something. Hi. So
I love you, Ross.
so yeah,
So what were those goals 2 years ago? What happened?
I wanted my own. They're not big of a deal. I wanted to have more than two businesses. I wanted to be a brand ambassador for a couple of companies. I wanted my own plot of a house, a big plot. I wanted to have at least two cars. So I got it. Like I had everything that I wanted 2 years back, and that's when I was like 24 because I'm turning 27 this December. So I was happy. For me, it was a big deal.
Did you, when it happened, did you
Mm,
appreciate it?
I did. I cried because I remember I cried on my birthday. I cried so hard because I went through some difficulties a few years back. So I couldn't believe I made it. I couldn't believe I was actually alive. I was actually happy. I actually succeeded in everything that I wanted. I was so happy. I was so grateful to God. I was like, thank you, God. It's because of you I'm here. And my mom has been my number one supporter from the beginning.
Nice, nice.
So yeah, when I cried, she was actually with me. So I was so happy.
So, so
Yeah.
I'll give you my struggles, which I love to say because I think transparency helps people. They make you realize, boy, it wasn't easy. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, my when I started, I was lost for 30 years. I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. That's a struggle. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard if you don't know.
I
And then for me,
know.
it was things like my first 6 years of doing this business was just terrible. Like it was just I
No.
didn't trust myself, and I lost money, and I lost my house, and but it's been
Aw.
amazing ever since. But it's great. So for you, like, you don't have to, like, what does struggles mean? Like, what did you think, like, when you think back, what did you have to go through to get to that moment 2 years ago?
So for me, I remember like that was like 6 years ago. I was like 19, going to 20 years. I got pregnant. I was actually in a mission of opening my own business, like my first business. And in the process, I ended up getting pregnant for my first child. Her name is Fantasy. So, and then I had to stop everything. And then I actually wish I was actually hoping a happily ever after with her father. And then we broke up right after I had my baby. So we broke up, and then I had to start from the start. Mind you, I was actually like planning, I had my life together, I had everything that I wanted together on in like sets, and then all of a suddenly everything collapsed, and then you have to start from the beginning. So I think that was so hard for me. And then I was like, okay. But then I think that I never gave up, even for a second. And I remember when I started, so apparently for me, I used to think maybe I have a bad luck or something, because everything that I tried, like I remember my modeling days. When I started modeling, people were saying, "Oh my gosh, she's fat. Oh, she has big
Mm,
hips. She has big thighs. Models are supposed to be skinny." But then I was like, you could separate me from all other models. I had something unique inside of me, and I think that's something that made me stand out. So I believe I was never made to fit in. So I worked hard, and then my modeling days, I did good. After that, I started my own businesses, and then when I wanted to work with companies in terms of being a brand ambassador, a lot of people didn't a lot of companies didn't believe in me. And then I was like, why? Because I think that was back then when my country usually didn't take like brand ambassadors from our country. Like even the models, a lot of models for products and everything were from other countries.
from
So I
other
was like,
country, yep.
yeah. So then I was like, when are these people actually going to use people like me, who are here? And then it actually got to that point, and I was like, yay. So the first company I worked with is a hair company. It's called Prima Afro. I'm still with them. This has been the third year since I started working with them. So when they believed in me, all other companies followed, and I'm like, yay. I'm good. I'm like, I'm good at this. I'm good at what I do. And I was so happy that people are actually finally realizing me, seeing me for who I am, for the hard work that I have. You know, I believe sometimes when people see you on the ground, they don't see the struggle.
Correct.
Especially if you're a woman, they just see this pretty face, a Barbie doll who's just posing and smiling. They don't know that you work 24 hours, you work so hard, and you just don't post your struggles, because I believe nobody cares about your struggle until you make it.
Yep.
Because now, Brett, you are able to tell your story because you
Yep.
have made it.
Correct.
Yeah, you are
Correct.
successful, but when you're starting, even if you tell anybody, nobody cares,
Correct.
because people care more about the results. They don't care
Correct.
about your struggles. Yeah.
Do you
So yeah.
use do you use the people who say no and you can't do it and you don't look right? Is that a chip on your
Mm.
shoulder? Do you use that?
Do I what?
Do you use that as motivation when people say no, you can't do
I
it?
did at back. Yeah, I did back then. I really did, especially the modeling days, because I wanted to be unique. I loved my body. I was like, I look good in everything I wear. So why do I have to be so skinny?
Yeah.
So the moment I started walking, I started walking on that, on the stages and everything, and on the fashion shows. Everything was just beautiful, and everybody was so happy. So when they saw people cheering for me back then, everybody was just so happy, and everybody said, "Oh, she's good, she's good." I was like, "Okay, at least now you can see." Yeah,
With your you have a massive audience, huge audience
yeah,
that follow you.
yeah.
Do you
Uh-huh.
remember do you remember the first time someone recognized you
Like in the streets.
in the street? Yeah, just they knew who you
Yeah,
were.
I actually do. And it's still it's for me, because I'm not like, I don't talk much in person. A lot of people here think I'm so quiet, and so the first time, it's still for me, it's still sometimes I walk down the streets, I walk around, I forget that I'm famous here, and then boom, somebody's like noticed me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, here we are back. And they still do not do with the fans. Like still today, if I meet a fan who is crying or so happy to see me, I still don't know what to do. It's still
Yeah.
for me, it's still like, oh my gosh, why is this person crying? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, I start apologizing for something that I didn't do, and there's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, I hope one day I'll actually get used to it.
D
Yeah.
d d d can you appreciate why your fans like you? Meaning, like, you're inspiring other girls, you're inspiring
Mm-hmm.
women, you're giving them hope, you're giving the, you know, whether it's a single mom or whether it's starting a business or whether it's going in a different direction like music. Do you see why why your fans like you?
Uh, First of all, because first of all, I believe because I have of the achievements at the same time of how I work hard. Thirdly, because life is not always smooth. So I
Yeah.
have dealt with some difficulties whereby Instagram people have witnessed, and they always see how I have overcome it, and they think that's one of the reason they like me for is my strength. I believe that I'm able to like pass anything, to work toward anything, whatever the storm, whatever the difficulties. I believe that I can like move on from anything. Yeah.
When you were first, you know, I guess 6, 7 years ago, what was the
Mm.
original goal? Was it fashion? Was it music? Was it modeling? Like, what was the original? What did you want to be?
So I can say my goal when I was in school, I actually wanted to study so hard and then finish university and then I don't know, get a job like a regular person and then marry definitely my sweetheart from high school and live happily ever after. But then I had a hobby for singing. Like I think one of my goals was like I really want to be a singer. I really want to sing. I really want to be the best and all. But then I finished school. Everything changed. I'm tall, so people kept on approaching me on the road like you should do this, you should do that, and yeah, and that was my time. My mother was married to my stepdad, and they got a divorce. And my stepdad was the one who was paying everything for me. So after I finished school, he wasn't there, so I
Yeah.
had to work. I have to like be the caretaker. I had to work. Yeah.
So what the modeling was the first thing for you, business wise?
Yeah, business wise, modeling was the first
Are
thing. Yeah.
um surprised, given the fact that music was important to you, are you surprised the reaction that you got that now you want to do music?
Yeah, the first time I actually released Madam Hero, everybody, the audio, now that was the audio. Everybody was like, why is she singing? She's
Why
so
is she
pretty.
doing
She
this?
can,
Yeah.
yeah, like she can make money out of everywhere, like out of anything. What does she have to sing? And then I was like, I really want to sing. I've always wanted to sing. And nobody actually believed in me that I've always wanted to sing. They're like, this one, she's just saying this. She just wants money. She wants this. Hamisa likes to work. She likes to make money out of everything. So now she's trying music. So I kept telling people that I actually have always wanted to sing. This is actually something that I've always wanted to do. But then when I released the video, I think that's where people actually was like, oh wow, she can actually do this. She's actually serious about this.
Did you,
And
but
for me,
sorry, I
yeah.
want to, did you ever, because I can imagine people telling you, no, you can't
Mm.
do this. You
I'm
shouldn't
so
do this.
I'm so used to the you can't. I'm so used to the you can't do this, you can't do that. Why do you have to do this? They actually told me that so many times. Even now, some people are still telling me, you shouldn't do music. I think, but they're only telling me that because they prefer me in the fashion part because
The way
that's
they
what
see
they
you.
do. Yeah, they just like to see this girl looks pretty, always looking good. That's what they like. That's Hamisa. That's the Hamisa in their head. So I'm like, I'm doing this. I'm actually going to sing. And I don't care. You guys are going to listen regardless.
So
Yeah.
who, is there anybody around you you trust if they said don't do this? Or would you still do it? Because it's
I
your, it's
remember
you.
started singing, my ex from that time, I was dating a man, and he was so against it. He was so against it, and I believe he still is, but it doesn't matter anymore. But he was so against it, and he broke my heart because I felt like he was the only person in the world that could actually support me
Yeah.
or actually believe in me, because he knew me, like he knew for me for who I am. So he did not approve of it, but I didn't back out. I didn't back down. I was like, I'm doing this regardless. And now he's not in the picture. I'm glad I did not give up on my dreams.
Because and at some point, and I could say the same thing. At some point, you realize I don't need anybody else. I don't need
Very
their
true.
approval. I don't
Very,
need. I can do this.
very true. You're right. And for me, like the only person who can actually like break my heart so deeply is my mother. But she is the only person in this whole universe who never like tell me no, you cannot do this. She's
Yeah.
the only one, always my cheerleader, always making sure I do this, always supports me. She always believes that I can do it, and every time that she does, I ended up doing it, and I do good. Yeah.
How did Mobetto Styles come about?
So I've always like wanted to own a shop, to own a boutique. And when I started, that's after I had my second kid. That's actually when I officially opened. And I was super exhausted at that time. I was just tired. I was like, I'm just from giving birth. Now I have to work. Then I was busy looking for a name. Like, I want, which name should I put? But then here people always go like, oh, like people here, most people call me Mobetto. So because the like Hamisa Mobetto,
Sure.
Mobetto is very unique. So they'll always say like, oh, you guys should dress like with the styles like Mobetto. So in Swahili they say styles are Mobetto. So I was like, oh, okay. Everybody's like, oh, she has dressed like this, like Hamisa's style, Mobetto styles. So I was like, okay, I definitely just think that should be the name. That should definitely be the
Had
name, Mobetto.
had you had you always had the passion to do fashion? To do
I've always wanted to look good. Always. Like always. I always want to look good. And so when I wanted to start, why? Because I also wanted people to look good. I believe when you look good, you feel good about
Yep.
yourself. So yeah. So I was like, okay, let me do this. Let me make everybody feel good.
Who out there? I'm curious. My wife always. I always ask my wife, who out
Mm.
there has fashion style, the style you love.
For me, a lot of people. For me, I would say a lot of people because for me, I take everything out of somebody.
Yeah.
You understand? I will say maybe I love how Beyonce always puts her hair,
Yeah.
and I would definitely say I love how Naomi Campbell works. But then I would say, oh, I love Nicki Minaj's style. But when I'm like street style, I'll be like, Rihanna does it the best. And then so I will always take something from somebody. It's never this particular person. No, no, no. I'll be like, if it's the influencers, if it's the musicians, if it's the actresses. So it's always somebody. Yeah, but I'll say if my favorite artist, like my favorite rap artist, hip hop artist, will forever be Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
Maybe because she's a Sagittarius. I'm Sagittarius, so
I'm a
maybe.
Sagittarius. Me too. Me too.
You too.
Me
Oh, when is your
too.
birthday?
Uh, November 26th.
Oh, I'm December 10th, and I
Yep.
think Nicki Minaj is December 8th. Yeah.
Yep. Sagittarius's rule. Um, if you had to choose one medium to be in, music, fashion, modeling, brand
Mm.
ambassador, if you had to only choose one, which one would you choose?
I'll choose music
Wow.
because through music, I'll showcase the clothes. I'll still look good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Some people, and do you have a different persona when you're performing or singing versus who you are?
Yeah. I feel like when I'm on stage, I'm a completely different person from who I am right now. Yeah, that's definitely how I believe.
Because is it a more confident person? Meaning it's a more
Yeah, very
aggressive,
more
outgoing?
yeah, because the me here, I'm a bit shy, I'm a bit quiet, but on stage, I feel like I'm a different human being. So, like, something takes over me, and I have fun. I'm like different, and yeah.
Who do you like better?
On the stage,
You on the
me
stage, or you
on the stage, me on the stage. I wish I was that confident
that
in real life.
confidence? Isn't that amazing? I interviewed you know Bow Wow.
Uh huh.
Bow Wow, and he was on there's a show in the U.S. The Masked Singer.
Okay.
Anyway, you wear a mask, and I remember him saying, because no one knew who he was when he wore this mask, and
Mm-hmm.
he felt like he was somebody else, and he loved it. He would never have done that, you know. He would never have been able to do what he did if he didn't have that mask on.
Oh,
But so what's the next goal? What's the next thing you want to achieve?
now I actually want to finish my album. We're still working on it. At first, I really wanted my EP,
Yeah,
but then they were like, my management, everybody that I work with, they were like, why do you want to do something small? If you want to
yeah.
do something, you should actually do something big. So I was like, okay, album it is. So we're still working on the album. We're like in the last stages. So I'm just hoping for the best.
Um, Anybody outside of Africa you'd want to collab with?
Definitely, yeah, one, Rick Ross.
Rick Ross. Rick will do it. Rick
Yeah,
is down.
yeah,
Anybody
for anybody else, the Nicki Minaj or Chris Brown. Yeah, I know that's a long shot, but okay.
anybody within Africa?
Within Africa, definitely, I would love to work with who Davido or Wizkid. Yeah.
Do, um, do you want to see your music trend uh, outside of East Africa? Meaning,
Yes, I want the whole world to know me. I want the whole world to know my name. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I'm having big hopes in my heart.
that's the next big step. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So talk about the foundation, because I think it's so wonderful that you're doing this.
Yeah. For now, we're working with a small. We started off with orphanages, with the mothers who just gave birth, and now we have this thing called Hatua na Mobetto. It's like steps in English. It's like steps,
Yep.
like so. We have these small entrepreneurs in every country, especially here in my country. We have these small like entrepreneurs who are just starting, so we're trying to direct them in a better path. Like some person actually wants to open a business and they do not know where to start. They don't know the registrations, they do not know how to start working, they do not know how to open a business. So we have these seminars, they're called Hatua na Mobetto. We've only done one so far. We are working towards the next ones, and the first people actually were very happy when the
And
first one happened. Yeah.
and does the whole inspiration for doing this come out of the fact of, you know, you want to, like, for me, it's, I wish there were people like me for me 20
Mm-hmm.
years ago. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that where the inspiration comes from? You want to be able to give back to those people who
For
want to,
me, when it comes to business, because when I started, I never had anybody else. Like
yeah,
it was just me. Everything that I started off, everything that I knew, I had to learn it. I had to look for ways. I had to do everything on my own. So I feel like when nobody was there for me, I believe that I should be there for other people.
yep.
Yeah, I believe that if I ever have a chance, if I could save the world, if I could help everybody, I would. But for now, let me just start with the little that I have. Because, I believe in order for you, I believe you have to feel empty.
Yeah.
You have to feel empty in order for you to fulfill everybody else's glass. I believe that you have to know what it is like without the help in order for you to be able to give out the help.
Last question. How did you come up with the name Fantasy?
Oh, fantasy, and I love that name. I know it's my daughter's name. I wish my parents did well with my name, but so so for fantasy, her dad's name is Francis Anthony Caesar. So
Oh,
she really, when I was pregnant, she didn't want, like when I did the ultrasounds, we never knew the gender. We
yeah.
never knew the gender. She's different from my son, because my son in 4 months pregnant, I knew he was a boy. But this girl, she kept on closing her legs, and we didn't know her name. So we're like, we didn't know her gender. So we're like, how are we going to give her a name? So then we had to combine her dad's full name. It's Francis Anthony Caesar. So in there you get Fantons, but you don't get fantasy, you get Fantons. So we're like, you know what? If the baby is going to be a boy, we're gonna name him Francis, just like the dad. So like Francis Jr. So if it's actually going to be a girl, her dad was like, she needs to be Fantons. And I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. But there is a word, a fantasy word. And he was like, you're smart. I was like, I know it.
I
So
love
that's
it.
how we come up with it. Yeah.
So you have two now, right?
I have two kids.
Two.
Fantasy is 6 years. Dylan is 3, turning 4 in August.
All right. So you have to catch up to me. I have six now.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So
Nice. I love having a big family. I love having a big family. If I were married by now, I would have like 5.
all
I love
right.
kids. And why? Because I'm the only child. Like my mom
Uh,
only has me, so I
even
I don't like them.
even better. I
Yeah.
I absolutely love you. I completely.
I love you too.
I'm very fortunate, and I'm very fortunate that I get to have these conversations. But I'm very fortunate because I completely understand why you have such a huge audience, and
Aww. Thank
you are
you.
just completely authentic. And now I get why you have
Oh,
such
this
big
means a
fans.
lot
It's
to me.
awesome. It's awesome.
Oh,
I
thank you so much.
I love hearing your
It means a lot.
story. I love hearing your story. You've given me motivation. I love being motivated, and anything I can do for you, please ask. Keep going. Don't stop.
Definitely. And you guys, I would love for you to visit Tanzania. It's beautiful. You're gonna love it here.
And it's going to happen as soon as we get this COVID crap out of the way. It's going to happen.
Okay. I'm
Hamisa,
excited.
thank you so much. Everybody,
Thank you so
support,
much for
support,
having me.
support, support. Go to the foundation. Go to Mobetto Styles, Kids Corner, music. Can't wait. Thanks,
Thank you
everybody.
so much.
Thank
It was
you.
nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.